embedded a call to action, right? And so it's not the business is broken. It's not that real estate is so hard. It's that maybe our strategy needs an adjustment. And that's what Chris and I want to do today. We want to help you with an adjustment to your strategy. I call these the three prospecting plays. Visibility, right, is the new cold call or dialing for dollars. Be where your audience is be where your audience already is. Be where your audience already is. So where is your audience? I'll get into a grammatical thing here. Is or are. So think about this. I'm in the DC metro area. My niche market is for sell by owners, expired listings, and distressed properties, right? So I want to be where for sell by owners are. I want to be where expired listings are. I want to be in that environment, and as I call it in my term, in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in the room, you don't have an opportunity for the deal. You don't have an opportunity for the sale. Mm-hmm. So, and then the second thing is leverage warm introduction. Ask for strategic connections, right? Let me give you a quick example of that. If you're at a Walmart or a Target or a Nordstrom, wherever you're at the cash register or the customer service center, and I have fun with this when I do this, is as the person is ringing up my purchase or assisting me with the sale or however they're helping me, doesn't matter if I'm going to Home Depot to buy wood. I'm going to do this. Hey, man, you know what? You'll be good in my business. And they usually say, what business are you in? Wham, I hit them with a business card. I said, real estate. That's what I do. I say real estate, right? And so then if you know of anyone I'm at Home Depot now, if you know of anyone who's remodeling their home, if you know of anyone hey, do me a favor, share this information with me, share my information with them. Or when you see me again, share their information with me. Leverage warm introduction and ask for strategic connection. The third thing is data-driven targeting. Use CRM and social data to find ready prospects. Data-driven targeting. And I love what Chris is going to share in just a few minutes about how to data drive and target using a tool to find ready prospects. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to spend our time trying to convince someone to list with me, trying to convince someone to buy a home with me. We don't want to spend our time doing that. There's a principle in place that says 20% of our time, 80% of the results comes from 20% of the focus. 80% of the results come from 20% of the focus. Why would I spend 80% of my time with 20% of my market share? And they are individuals who are not ready to buy. I want to spend my time with those who are ready to buy. Now, listen, I hope this is making sense. If this is making sense, drop a 5 in the comment section. Drop a 5 in the comment section if this is making sense. So now building that prospecting flow. It's a 5-step no cold call funnel flow. Number 1, identify your ideal audience. I use a tool like Landvoice to help me do that. Second thing, engage with educational-based content. What does that mean? Unpack that a little bit. So engaging with educational-based content simply means I'm not asking for what's in your hand. I want to add value to you. I'm going to tell you information about the market share. In our market, in the state of Maryland, I live in the state of Maryland, from January 2025 to September 2025, 15,500 federal workers are laid off. Now, listen, I hope this is making sense. If this is making sense, drop a 5 in the comment section. Drop a 5 in the comment section if this is making sense. So now building that prospecting flow. It's a 5-step no cold call funnel flow. Number 1, identify your ideal audience. I use a tool like Landvoice to help me do that. Second thing, engage with educational-based content. What does that mean? Unpack that a little bit. So engaging with educational-based content simply means I'm not asking for what's in your hand. I want to add value to you. I'm going to tell you information about the market share. In our market, in the state of Maryland, I live in the state of Maryland, From January 2025 to September 2025, 15,500 federal workers are laid off. Right. And I just pause on that because it's, I'm feeling that I feel with families, and I have friends that are government workers that were laid off. One lady said that she went to check her email on a Sunday night and she got an email and said, by the way, don't come in because your position is eliminated. Sunday night, you get an email, right? There's a severance package, but you still get an email. So education. So now it shifts a little bit in my marketing, my messages, right? So now it's more about finding information for federal employees. If they are my target audience, find information where they can get assistance and be the champion for them with that information. Does that make sense? So engage with educational based content, capture interest with a free value offer. That's a CTA. I got a CTA for you at the end of today. Right. And listen, I know I'm talking fast. I'm a category 5 hurricane. When I get started, man, I easily gust upwards to over 300 miles an hour. The good thing for you is this is recorded and it's going to be on the Facebook page. It's going to be on LinkedIn. It's going to be on social media. So you can watch it again and again and again. The fourth thing in this 5-step no cold call funnel is nurture through automation. Nurture through automation. Have campaigns. If I'm using social media, I would, and check this out later. Don't do it now because you're on this call. Go to Hootsuite, Hootsuite, Hootsuite. Hootsuite for a small fee will allow you to manage 5 or more social media platforms at the same time. And you can schedule your social media posts 30, 60, 90 days in advance. So on a Saturday afternoon, I sit down with a cup of coffee in my office and I schedule 30 to 45 days of social media content. I do it once, Hootsuite does the rest. That's nurturing through automation. Okay, that's nurturing through automation. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to convert with personalized, high value conversation. Personalized, high value conversations. Now, in order for you and I to have high value conversations, friend, you need to see yourself with high value information. And you have to believe on the inside of yourself that you bring value to the marketplace. You bring value to that customer relationship. And then you got to walk in what I call the confidence code. Confidence attracts clients. Can you imagine you and I on a listing appointment? You have a $2 million listing and you and I are having a conversation. And during the conversation, I'm like this, well, yeah, I've been doing real estate for a little bit. I think I can do it. You're like, dude, no, you can't. As a matter of fact, turn your license in tomorrow because you're not going to make it, little guy. Confidence attracts clients. You're not begging for business. You're offering transformation. You are offering transformation. I was having a conversation with a couple that needed, and years ago, and this couple, they needed to sell a home before they can move and buy the next home. And so the wife was ready to move forward. The husband was like stuck in the mud. I hope you understand that terminology. And he's kind of like this, and he was like that the whole 47 minutes that I was talking. And we got to the part where it's time for the signature. She was saying yes, he wasn't sure, right? And I just simply looked at her and said, what would it do to your plans if we didn't get your house sold today? She looked at him and gave him that look that only a wife could give you. See, that was unspoken communication. Dude, I will handle you in the backyard. Right? If you don't sign this contract. So I offer transition. I offer value and transition. What would happen if you didn't sell this house? What would happen if we didn't get it on the market today? What would that do to your plans? The confidence code. Who you help, what problems you solve, and what transformation you deliver. Who you help, what problem you solve, what transformation you deliver. Friend, if when you understand your UVP, your unique value proposition, and you are highly connected to your MVP, and I don't mean most valuable player, I mean your mission, your value, and your purpose. I'm telling you now, friend, money goes away. In other words, the cost for your service, it goes away. Who you help, what problem you solve, and what transformation will you deliver. So as we progress, we want to leverage some tools. And speaking of leveraging tools, this is where Mr. Christoph is going to
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about his powerful tool that you will have access to help take your business to the next level. Chris, the floor is yours.
Oh, that was so awesome. I kept on taking notes. I hope all of you did, because Rich, this was awesome. I'm going to share a screen now, and we
Okay.
practiced that before, so we know it works. Here we go. And I'm
There you
gonna
go.
a little larger. So first of all, I know some notes that I took is you said, give something, right? Give a something of value. And as somebody who rather likes to give than to take, I 100% underline that. And I'm going to talk about now, how can you get listings? Instead of saying, how can I take a listing? What
Mm-hmm.
can I give to get a listing organically?
Mm-hmm.
So that is a lot more fun and a lot more rewarding than constantly saying, no, I want to take something. I want to take something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first of all, we have to realize that last year, no, it was not a time where a lot of agents took listings or had listings or transactions. In fact, 71% of agents didn't have a single transaction. We were hoping that 2025 would be different. We were hoping for interest rate reduction and so on. And when that didn't really happen, we found that in this market, there's a small percentage of agents who are crushing it right now, while the majority is still struggling to get listings. And if they have a listing, to get that listing sold, find the buyers. So for all of that, I have a solution for you today. You can literally be in that percentage that actually takes listings, gets listings, and has almost like a record year, because you have still a large number of homes that can be sold, but a smaller percentage of agents actually doing it. And we want you to be one of them. One thing we all have to understand is we don't want to avoid contact in real estate. Sometimes we say, oh, what can I do to automate this and automate that and get myself out of the picture and have everything replaced, maybe with AI or maybe just with ads, and the business will magically come to me. We have to realize prospecting is still a contact sport. No matter how much technology there's out there that tries to convince you that you don't need to be visible, you don't need to talk to anyone. Yes, you do still need to have contact. In fact, I would say you should have probably at least 5, hopefully 10 new contacts every day. And that old proven value will remain true forever. Okay, you cannot take yourself out of the equation. And if you want to have success in making contacts, I propose have contacts with people who need to sell. In the industry, we have a saying, we call it the low-hanging fruit. What is a low-hanging fruit? Who are those sellers who want to sell, not a year from now, but right now? They have a pressing and urgent need to put the home on the market and get it sold as soon as possible. And there are a few, right? I mean, we could talk about distressed homeowners, we could talk about expireds. Today, we want to focus only on one niche opportunity, and that is for sale by owners. We do have solutions for the other ones as well, believe me, but let's keep it simple and talk about for sale by owners right now. Rich, you talked about mind shift, right? I propose a mind shift for sale by owners. Instead of thinking, the first thing you think is rejection, oh, they're difficult, I don't want to deal with them. Think of this: FSBO, fastest source of business opportunity. Why? Because they have the hands up in the air and they say, I have to sell a house right now. Right now. It doesn't get any easier than that. Maybe expired is a little bit easier because they even want to pay commission. They already decided that. Still, we know that now tells us that 80%, and in some states, even a lot more, 80% of for sale owners end up listing with an agent within a very short time. Yeah. So usually after the first failed open house. Sometimes even with the first phone call of an agent, they change their mind, when they hear some some agent who's maybe has a disruptive approach without asking for the listing. So I'm going to show you now how you can get a hold of for sale by owners really fast before your competition. And then I'm going to show you something that Rich and I 100% agree on how can you add value first instead of just having commission price with a for sale by owner. When we look for sale by owners, there are two ways we can do it. We can do it ourselves, or we can use a data provider. Let me show you the difference. If you do it on your own, here's what you got to do. You got to go to Zillow, forsalebyowner.com, the online ad of every local newspaper, because this is where for sale by owners put the ads. And believe it or not, there are actually 1,300 online sources that are available for sale by owners. Most of them are 100% free, where they can post their ads. And as soon as they post an ad, they get bombarded by those opportunities, and the ad is now everywhere, right? So you could go to 1,300 sources and find all those ads and all those for sale by owners, put it into a spreadsheet and manage them. Managing means you would need to check it against the MLS every single day to make sure is it now active or sold. Then you need to make sure that number is not on the do not call registry, because you don't want to violate that, the TCPA laws. You want to be compliant. And you can already tell it's a lot of work, right? You would even need to do an absentee owner lookup, because the phone number that you find for that for sale by owner might be associated with the house that is rented out or a second home. Maybe it's an Airbnb or something, but you don't know, is that the owner answering or not? So all of this work exhausts you, it puts you behind of the competition, and you feel like when you finally get a hold of them, you're competing with all the other agents, because by the time you finally get your act together and have the for sale by owner list ready, they tell you, hey, I got bombarded this morning. It's only 10 o'clock. I already heard from 20 agents. And some of them don't even talk like that. They just hang up on you because they're tired of all those phone calls. So how can you avoid the competition and actually be first to a for sale by owner and spend less time doing the research? So don't do this. Make sure that you use a system that lets you fish in a blue ocean without competition. I'm going to show you how to do that. The easiest way to do this is actually using Land Voice. There are other companies trying to do the same thing we do. We have been doing it for 30 years. We got it figured out to the point that it takes you 30 seconds or less, including logging in to the platform, clicking submit, and within seconds, it gives you the list of all those for sale by owners in your area. What if you say, hey, I don't want just the new ones, I want the old ones, because I find more success calling those that have been on the market already for a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even longer? Well, with Land Voice, you can simply type in the time criteria up to 12 months back. We know your counties, we go by counties, and all those for sale by owners now populate. The numbers are scrubbed against the do not call registry. So if it's red, it's on the DNC. If it's green, it's not. We do the absentee owner lookup. We even look for social media profiles, email addresses, all the information about the home, and even the ad. When you click on the address, it gives you the ad. Guys, how cool is that? Instead of having now to do it all yourself and always feeling like, I'm too late, I'm getting behind, you have it at your fingertips. That is a gold mine if you have a data provider that gives it to you. Not only does it save you time, it's much more accurate than if you try to do it on your own. Plus, we scrub it every day against the MLS to let you know, hey, that for sale by owner that came up 3 months ago, is it now active on the MLS? Is it sold? Even it gives you that status update. It checks for that constantly every 10 minutes. Then you can tag your lead after you called it, or you can create your own tag, use one of ours, or take notes. It even has a notes feature, and all of this stays with that record forever. And then you can export that list, put it into a label maker if you want to send out postcards, or into your CRM, whatever you want to do. I hope you can see now, if you're still doing it the old way of digging out the data yourself, how much easier that can be by using Land Voice. Rich, you talked earlier about, you always have to give away something for free, right? We want to give something to the for sale by owner for free. But we also I want to give you something for free right now. I will do a free data lookup for you. And yes, there are no strings attached. Simply text me your name and your top 2 to 4 counties to 801-227-9909. That's not a number somewhere in some big sales office. That is my personal cell phone number right here. It will come to me during this webinar or at the time when you watch it, if it's a recording. What I'm going to do with that information, I'm going to look up in your counties, how many for sale by owners did you have in 1,300 online sources in the last week, in the last month, 60 days, 90 days? I even can go back to 1 year. I will have all the data ready when we jump on the call, and I will give you that free data information. You will know exactly how large is the opportunity of for sale by owners in those counties that you texted me. Is it cool? So please write this number down. Make sure you take advantage of this. Data is king. If you have access to that data and knowing how big is the opportunity, you already know much more than your competition. They simply go to forsalebyowner.com, maybe realestate.com, and that's about it. I'm going to give you everything what they don't know. Now, next, you want to add value. Okay, so let's say now you subscribe to Land Voice, you have the data for those 500 or 1,000 for sale by owners. What are you going to do? What are you going to say on the phone? Because you can easily mess it up and just get a rejection if you come in with commission breath. Well, you want to come in with value. There are different ways to do this, right? One of them, the value is I can bring you a buyer and can look at your property and check it out. Do you already have a buyer? How long, do you still have your home on the market? Rich has a wonderful script for that. I'm sure he's going to give this to you later. I'm going to give you now an alternative script. It's always good to have multiple approaches that solves a big problem that they have. Because if you just say, let me talk to you, let me get that work off your back and let me list your house, no matter what you say, they say, no, I want to do it myself. Let me try it first, right? You get an instant, almost like preconceived or prepared rejection from them that they thought when a realtor calls me, that's what I'm going to say. Well, Tony Robbins tells us actually how we can overcome that. He says, if you add the value, you become the brand. Simply find a way to add more value than anyone else. So be disruptive. So here's what I would normally do. Okay, you call them and you say, hey, first of all, I want to tell you, you're going to get a lot of calls on this number because you used your own cell phone to advertise your property. If you want to minimize the amount of calls you're getting, I suggest put your number and all the numbers in your household on the do not call registry. It's a free service. Let me text you the link. And then the text and the link, do not call.gov. So not only did I provide value to them that really rescues the privacy, right? They will thank you forever. But it also blocks the competition because once they notice, oh, this one is on the DNC, many agents who are good agents, they will not call anymore because it's on the DNC and they would probably rather door knock. And by that, they actually miss the opportunity already because you already talked to them over the phone before they were on the do not call registry because we give you the number from Land Voice. Next, I would say this. I'm Christoph, I'm a real estate agent. I'm glad you put your number on the DNC. I'm actually not calling to get a listing from you at this point. In fact, I totally realize you want to sell on your own. I respect that. If I wouldn't know what I know, I probably would do the same thing. So I'm not calling to get a listing from you. I don't want to get your listing. What I'm after right now in this market, I need buyers. And I need a lot of buyers for a lot of people who have the home on the market. So I would propose, I would like to use your home as a magnet to attract buyer leads because I know only one person can buy your home and you're going to attract maybe 20, 30 buyers, sometimes in one day. And I would like to work with the rest who don't end up buying your home. So here's what I have worked out for you. I will give you access to a 24-hour for sale by owner marketing system, absolutely free. That not only generates more buyers for you, but it even tracks all the incoming buyer leads. You never miss an opportunity to follow up. And it even pre-qualifies